California. What's going on, man?
Hey man, on this scoot that back so you can
Right.
make sure we was good with your brother.
What's going on? How you doing? How you been?
Man, I'm laying low like everybody else laying low. I'm on a chill out.
I hear that. I hear that. How's quarantine been for you? What's stay at home been like for
I'm gonna
London
be honest
Brown?
with you, like um, for me it's not too crazy because as an artist I would have been home anyway during the day. My lifestyle low key started at night. So hold on, let me just slide this back. Mine starts a little more in the evening. So this isn't that crazy. I'm not like losing my mind over like being home. I'm seeing it as a time to catch up, be productive. So this is I'm cool, man. As long as I try to get some work done. Don't get me wrong, I am ready to get back to work, but for the time being, I'm cool. I'm a homebody anyway, man.
Definitely, definitely. Has there been anything new that you picked up, or things that you didn't get to do that were on your to-do list that now you're like, oh, okay, since I'm locked down, let me
Right.
jump into this.
There been a couple. Even just little stuff at the crib, just organize some things because outside of the quarantine, like right now, I would have been living in New York, so I would have just been away from the crib anyway. But now that I'm here, like I said, just getting rid of old stuff, cleaning out a couple corners to have some stuff stacked up in it for a minute, and stuff like that. But then also again, just trying to make sure that I'm in a healthier, better place. And this was actually cool because what this quarantine did was it set me up to just space away from a few people, like not only like literally, but even like mentally and energy wise. I had to fall back, and so this is the quarantine set it up so that innately it happened. So I was like, cool. So when I come back out of quarantine, I ain't been around these people in months, so it ain't no like, oh man, where they go? No, you've been gone, I've been gone, so cool. Let's start over.
Clean slate, clean slate. I feel that. I feel that. I feel like a lot of people have been saying like now's been a great time to really lock in on themselves, kind of dial back everything that they were doing prior, realizing what is important to them. Do you feel like that's similar for what you've been doing?
Absolutely, man. I mean, like, cause a lot of times when I hear people using terms like, they're bored. I don't know anything about that. I mean, I feel like people who are using the term, saying things like I'm bored, they're not driven enough. They haven't found out what they're supposed to do. Because one time I presented that idea to somebody, and this lady says to me, she was like, "Well," I said, "Oh, you may not be driven enough. What is it that you're good at?" She hit me with I'm good at everything. I know how to make everything. I'm like, listen, I do I do a bunch of different stuff. That don't mean I'm supposed to be doing a bunch of different stuff. Like, but what's the thing that drives you? What's the thing that you can do for free? That's a totally different thing from just being able to do things well. I mean, for example, I cut hair, but that don't mean I'm supposed to be. That ain't what my life goal is. Now, for some
Right.
people, that's what they're supposed to do. They're on this job because they love cutting hair. What that does for their clients, it makes them feel better, and it's a whole thing out of that. So I'm not diminishing anything about cutting hair, but I'm saying, just because I cut hair don't mean that's what my purpose is.
Right.
So I think a lot of times the people who are speaking about being bored, they don't know what their purpose is. So they feel like, man, I'm not at work, so I'm not at work. They may have all their bills may be taken care of. They may have their house, their car, but they just be like, man, what am I supposed to do with myself? I'm like, you're not maximizing your life. So I can't really connect with those people on that sort of level because I don't really do anything because just to do it.
Right.
Even when they talk about hobbies, or I do photography, so people be like, yo, what you do on the side? Is photography a hobby? I don't know how to do anything artistic without some sort of purpose. Like I wouldn't, and this is no knock to anybody, but I wouldn't waste my own time just because like, let me just take some pictures. Like, nah, let me create a book, or let me bring awareness to homeless people. Things need to be a purpose. Especially, maybe if I was in my 20s, I could probably use terms like I'm bored, stuff like that, but nah, I can't, I'm not using those kind of terms, and not as a full adult. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, So this time is good for just rebranding yourself in your whole mental, your whole vibe, just rebranding yourself. So then when you go back out of quarantine, you know, it's not like, oh man, I fell off. It's like, no, I came out of this. I rebuilt myself, my purpose, my who I'm dealing with. This is a good like spring cleaning.
Definitely.
You know, on so many levels, man. So it's been solid for me.
Jewels already, dropping gems already. So I'm glad that you brought up photography and making a book. I don't know if you remember, we had spoken a couple years back, and
Yeah.
you had told me that you were doing or starting to put the groundwork down for making a book about photography, and then
Yeah.
through like a homeless person's lens.
Yeah.
Is that still going down? Where are you with that? How's that been?
Absolutely. So, and of course, for me, artistic things, I don't force them. I don't, you know, I don't push it like that. But excuse me, I'm shooting weekly, even during quarantine. What I also realized is too, like all the photographs I had of homeless people, if I'm gonna be publishing them, I got to get them to do paperwork. I gotta do the legal things. So I got to go back and really get back in the streets and reshoot a lot of stuff, so that you know everything is proper. So yeah, that's still a work in progress, and I think that's gonna be. I'm gonna do it until because I want it done well and I want it done respectfully. And as I create this book, and hope to have it in people's homes, not only is it my product in someone's home and my artistic expression, but and outside of that, the proceeds will go to help homeless people. But when people, I hope that it will be a great conversational piece that when people see that book, when their guests come to their home to see that book on the table, and they start to page through, it reminds them that any one of us could be in this situation. So it's a reminder that we should be very grateful for where we are and how blessed we are. Because I know that during this quarantine, I know there are probably some families, some people who lost their spot and who's holding on, who's penny pinching and trying to get through. You know what I mean? But before this quarantine happened, some of those people was just like, "Yo, we good. I got my spot. I got my job. I'm secure." Now, this is something that has nothing to do with even if you're rich or poor. Everybody on shutdown. We all
Exactly.
on
Yeah.
lockdown. So it's like this. Hopefully this was a wake up call, a reminder to people like, "Yo, we all just a phone call or a press conference away from being jobless or being whatever." You know,
Yeah.
I was on. I mean, ball has ended, but let's just say for actors, even in the middle, I was in the middle of filming. They said we're done. I said, "What you what you mean done? With the production stopped, shut down?" I said, "All right, but I'm used to this kind of
Right.
thing." And
Right.
to be honest with you, most black people used to this kind of situation anyway, where things kind of shaky. So we're not necessarily like in like some sort of like in this panic thing. You know what I mean? And I think, especially, I'm sure like white people are probably like in their freak out thing because they're so used to security. Black people, even with security, we ain't secure. We don't
Right.
trust nothing. We can't because of because of how we've been done. So
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? In general, black people as a culture, we a little guarded. We never really too safe on the job. I know people cool, but somebody else come in take our job. So we black people always on some like,
Always like bob and weave, duck and move.
dude, that's what we've been used to that. So I'm not saying that black people don't feel this, but I'm just saying at the same time we kind of we've been a little guarded, so it's not total like was we're not totally thrown off by this. But that's also another thing that makes black people so resilient is because through all the stuff that we've been through, we still are able to have some sort of peace in how we move about because we've been bullied a long time. So we hands up. We
Definitely.
don't get me wrong. We still love, but at the same time, we just a little
Gotta
more
be
mindful
resilient.
of how we move around. So that's why I'm grateful that I'm able to kind of still be able to survive and live during this time. And if I can do something to help people out, then I try to do my part and encourage others to do theirs. That's all.
Definitely, definitely. That's incredible. So I have to jump into ballers.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people have been telling me to ask all the questions about ballers. First, for my, you know, personal questions, now that ballers is finished, you know, what's the difference between having been on the, you know, doing the HBO show and now you have a solidified, finished, you know, your ballers is up there with some of the best HBO series ever. What is that like for London Brown now?
For me, it was Ballers. It was the second series that I was part of. The first one was on a smaller platform on Fuse, called The Hustle. But shout out to Princess Penny for even booking me for that. But what Ballers did is it was a nice way to start as a foundation for this thing called acting, because HBO is such a respected network. Like, you don't get shows on HBO, or you rarely get shows or something that would last like a season and do a couple episodes and not make it. Like,
Right.
the the process for even just for the producers and writers and directors on that level to even get the show pitched and get it picked up. Already HBO, they get pitched thousands of projects and films and different things. So to make it past that filter on that level, then by the time they come all the way down to the actors, like I remember for Ballers, I did like 7 callback auditions. It was like back to back, and of course, Fat Reggie was supposed to be fat on paper, but they decided to they liked the direction that I was taking Reggie, and we made it work and we did it like that. But point is that being that it was just such a respected platform, it's a great launch pad for me to move forward from that. And when you think about some of the other actors that started on HBO, even just the cast of The Wire, from the Michael B. Jordans and so forth,
Yep.
cast who was able to really go. I'm glad my platform was with HBO, and then starring with The Rock. It was just a great setup for me, um, because initially I was supposed to be like reoccurring, just a couple episodes, and they decided to write me in and make me a lead on the show. That's one part of it. The second part was the fact that, again, Reggie was supposed to be fat, so that's another thing that worked in my favor. The other one was, by default, I became the antagonist in season 1. So if you can't be the hero, the next best
The next
thing
best thing, yeah.
is the villain. So now we got four ideas that weren't necessarily on paper that worked out in my favor. The other one was all my scenes was with Dwayne. So we know all eyes is on Dwayne, period. It was a great introduction for me to have all my scenes across from Dwayne, because even if you didn't know me, you had to pay attention to me by
By
default, because
default.
I was with Dwayne. So those were a lot of things that worked out in my favor that I couldn't even ask for, because I didn't know to even ask for those things. Only thing I do sometimes is, I just pray to just be working. I just want to be a working actor and that sort of thing. And I was good, ideally I'm good there. But when you are aligned with what you're supposed to do, everything that you want and you ask for, and stuff you don't ask for is already on your path. This is why a lot of times people will see you doing well and be like, yo, dang, it just happened fast. Everything is just coming to you. It's not so much that it's happening fast. It's just that the person that we're looking at, they decided to get in line to what was already on their path. Everything that we want is on the path once we line up to it. The problem is a lot of cats, right? Let's just say I'm supposed to be a truck driver. I'm supposed to race cars. I'm a NASCAR driver. What I'll do is I'll be like, yo, I want to do that, and that's what I feel I'm supposed to do. I'm a great driver, but let me go sell a little weed, because my dream is taking a little too long for me to get the bag. I want to chase the bag, so we go sell a little weed. That ain't enough. They ain't selling enough. We go sell some dope. We go flip a couple bricks. It's doing well. The money is there. Oh shoot, get busted, sell to an undercover cop. Now I gotta go upstate. Gotta go do some time. Let's just say five. They give you 7 5 years, 7 years, whatever. Wasn't that much? You come back to the street. Now you got a felony and everything else. You got a record. Now you got to go try to get a job. You end up doing the security guard thing. And then through the security guard thing, they ask you to, somewhere in there you meet Jeff Gordon. Jeff Gordon says, man, you're doing a great job securing my car while I've been down here filming this film. You know, I'm really looking for a driver just to take me around. Boom, boom, boom. Next thing you know, your Jeff Gordon gets you a meeting set up with NASCAR. Now you become a NASCAR driver. And then after the guy becomes a NASCAR driver, now he gets commercials. He gets endorsements, free travel. And people be like, dang, he was just in jail, but now he just getting all these different successes. What happened? It wasn't that the successes weren't there. That guy who was selling drugs, who wanted to take the easy route, the easy route became the long route. But once he got back in tune, everything he was asking for was already there. So I feel like for me that, you know, I feel like I'm just I feel like I ain't going to say I'm all the way there. I'm gonna say that if my line is here, I'm parallel to it, because I'm sure there are a couple other things that can really put me in, and that's just my own discipline. Whether that means, you know, as opposed to waiting to, work out later, maybe I could spend more time if I worked out earlier and meditated more in the morning and I prayed more. Whatever my thing is, maybe it's my spiritual, my mental, but I know that this quarantine is helping me to get my line is like this, is helping me to get like this.
More.
Right, a little more in line. And that's why it's important with the people that we keep around us. A lot of times we keep it toxic. It may not even be us, but we're around people that are toxic. And so they'll discourage you. They want to go to the club every night. They want to go drink and smoke weed every night. And we do it because they are friends, but we have to understand that there is a sacrifice that comes with being progressive. Everybody ain't ready to move with you. So in that sense, man, I'm just like, yo, let me just line up and let me get what's for me. That way, once I'm in position, now I can help other people get in their position because I'm ready. But I can't help nobody if I ain't. You know, that's why they tell you on a plane, put your mask on first. If the air pressure begins to drop, make sure you good first.
You're good, so you can help everybody else.
Come on, somebody, talk to me.
Got to get over that first hump, so then all the the blessings
Absolutely.
that you're in line for come to you. So I've had several people that want to know. Speaking of you, being working with Dwayne and being on camera with him, what was the best moment during filming out of all 5 seasons that you had with him?
You know what? I think it might have been just our like side private conversations, like in between takes. We'll talk on the side, and he was real cool. Like when he listened, when he gave you attention, he gave you attention. He was right there, So I've appreciated him not being like, even though he's such a big star, I appreciated him not acting like one.
Right.
He was always real cool, and I remember one time, one conversation we had. My siblings came to set one day. It was like my last day on set, so I had them stop by, and they wanted a photo with him, obviously, of course. And I told them, I said, "Yo, man, I don't want to, Now this is 5 years in of working with this dude, but I'm still like, I'm not comfortable.
Right.
I'm not going to move like that. So I was like, yo, Dwayne, my siblings, I don't know if it's cool, man. I know you don't really do the picture thing like that, but if you don't mind." And Dwayne was like, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Well, the word is on set that you don't really mess with the pictures like that because so many people was doing it,
right?
Was trying to get photos with him in the previous season." He was like, "No, dude." I was like, "What?" He's like, "No, it's cool. Where they at?" And we took the photo. They did the selfie and that whole kind of thing. But point being is that he was cool enough to just like, if you respected him, he gonna respect you and show the love. And I'm glad that I never burnt out, our connection. Not that we was working out and best friends every day.
Right.
Whatever those connections were, I'm glad that we were able to just kind of keep it cordial, professional, but yet it was cool. Like when I lost my brother, one of my brothers in 2015, right before we started filming season 2. And what he was decided to do was, which was kind of him, was just send some flowers over. Dwayne busy. I know he ain't got time to be trying to. He can't send flowers to everybody and so forth. But for him to take the time to do that, or even just make a call and have his team do it,
Right.
like yo, that's love because he didn't have to do that. So it's some of those personal moments. Because on set again, I thought like everybody else, we expect to meet The Rock. I
Right.
didn't meet WWE Jabroni People's Elbow. I didn't meet him.
Right.
I met Dwayne Johnson. I met
Clean cut.
I met Dwayne. It was different. So he was cool, but I would still like to meet, Dwayne, The Rock as well as Dwayne Johnson, if that makes sense. But yeah, it was a personal moment. He was cool though.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So it's finished. Like I said before, Ballers is up there with shows like Entourage, and
Yeah.
when you look at Entourage, they got their movie after years and
Yeah.
all the crap they had to go through. Can we see that with Ballers? Can we expect a follow up to the Ballers series?
Dude, I'll wait. If HBO called me and said, London, is your call, you think we should do a film? I'm like, immediately, let's do it. I think it'd be a nice way to it'd be a nice button to like
yeah
fold the show and be like,
nice.
okay, that we did that. It was great because for the listeners, the same people who created Entourage created Ballers, same producers and so forth. And so how they closed it out like that, I thought that was really dope because I hadn't heard of any other like TV series really besides Sex and the City. I think they did a film, but I didn't really know of many shows that took it from the small screen to the big screen. And I think there's just a couple even at one point I would have been down to even do a spinoff like whatever Reggie and Joe
Right.
do something and we flip it around and get the business going again. So I think a film would be dope. Right now, I haven't heard any talks about it. I think Dwayne is just too busy for it anyway. And now, honestly, a lot of the other actors are starting projects and different things. So, but it would be cool if they decide to just revamp it during most of our hiatus, and we just like, yo, let's lock in, let's do it, and that'd be sweet. Just like I said, just to close it all out and just put it to rest. So we'll see. Hopefully.
No, I think that would be incredible. I would love that. I got one more fan question for you, and it's was Reggie that much different from London Brown? How much of it did you see yourself pulling into the character, and what was completely just for Reggie?
I think that, man, the loyalty that Reggie had for his best friend is what I'm about. But all the popping off stuff, I'm way more clandestine than that. I'm real chill, and that was the thing that was the interesting dichotomy between me and Reggie is that some people, especially black people don't, whoever you play, that's who you are. Like they don't, So I run into people. Sometimes people want to fight. My DMs people used to be popping off in the DMs, and I'm like, yo, that's just a character, you know what I mean? But that was why it was so important for us to really move Reggie along throughout the seasons where he started off kind of immature and insecure, but then by the time we got to season like even 3 and 4, we started to see some changes where Reggie wanted to take on more responsibility. He wanted to have a real say in Vernon's career, and then it got to the point where Reggie had to start trying to put Vernon in line, like, yo, we need to not be on this. We need to be on this. This would be a smarter move. And then come season 5, we see Reggie is totally concerned and involved and mature and making real moves and writing checks and so forth. And it was important for me that we arc Reggie into something so that he wouldn't be just one note of
Right.
He's just the annoying friend. Like, nah, he was a little immature, as most of us are when we're in our 20s. The way we are as we get older, even from high school to like in your 20s, you're like, yo, I thought that was cool or that was responsible. No, that was dumb. But it takes it takes time for people to really grow and mature into something responsible. And I think the fans were able to see some of that transition with Reggie. So I'm not the trifling stuff ain't all is that's like Reggie. But the responsible stuff, yeah, I try to bring some of that responsible stuff to Reggie. And the like I said, the loyalty and the friend stuff, the friendship stuff. So we was we cool, but we ain't the same. That's
Right. I like that you said in the beginning that the next best thing you could be was the antagonist. And I know that in the first season, that was very much you. You were the bad guy. Reggie was the bad guy in season one. And I think that had that kind of starting point has the best arc in terms of just character development because,
right.
So many times, and so, whether it's TV, film, fiction, whatever genre you may be in, if there's a bad guy, there's not much. It's very linear in terms of writing a bad guy. He's bad. He's here. He's a problem.
Right.
We get rid of the problem. But to start you out as a bad guy from the beginning,
right.
Like, okay, how does Fat Reggie develop over time and in some ways transform into London Brown?
Right.
I thought was such a dynamic that you didn't get from a lot of, or really any of the other characters in Ballers. So I really appreciate it.
And I think that was, for me, like I said, it was just a great way, because people, I gotta, or so they say, they really, really hated Reggie. I get that all the time, but I'm like, that same thing that you hate about Reggie is the same thing that makes Reggie interesting.
Yeah.
It's because you're like, what are you gonna do now? So even if people didn't want to like Reggie, they still were interested in what Reggie was going to do. And for me, as an unfamiliar face to many people, that was a great way to start off on a series, because it just made people connect. So then by the time we started to see the arc in Reggie, people could really appreciate that, because he was such the opposite in the beginning. So, for everybody listening and watching, thank y'all for keeping up with Reggie, because y'all allowed me to, pay my bills. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah. So, finally, what is next? I know that there's the funny dance show that you're on E. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
A couple years ago, I was called by the producers of the show, executive producers by the show, I'm also friends with, because we all do stand up together. They had me and said, "Yo, we got this idea. We've been doing it in the clubs. Want to put it on TV as the show." I was like, "All right, bet." And said, "Yo, it's just comedians getting together, and we kind of like doing like a spoof or a play on these dance shows that are so popular now." And I thought to do it because it was just a different side of me that people don't know anything about necessarily, my background in dance. So I was like, all right, man, I'll do it, and just pull in another audience. So with that dropped on E like a couple weeks ago, received really well. People enjoyed it. So major shout out to them, Heidi and the whole crew that was able to set that up. The current project is a show called American Soul that comes out May 27th on BET, and that just follows the life of Don Cornelius, the host of Soul Train, and it talks about his life before and after and during Soul Train, the ups and downs, and the people he's come in contact with while doing that show. And I play a character on this one called, playing the legendary Bootsy Collins, bassist, and they hit me and he said, "Hey, we want you to, fly out here to Atlanta to film it." And I played bass guitar in it, and I got the wig, and I got the beard, and the leather jumpsuit joint with the platform. So this was totally different from the other things that I've done, which is going to just put me in a whole different other life. But I never want to be stuck into just one role or one type of thing. Ballers was dope. It was fun playing Ballers, but I try to make sure each project has a little something different to it. You know what I mean? At least these first couple projects, I just, you got to be careful, because after people saw, like by the time season 2 of Ballers came out, I was getting all kind of offers for different versions of Reggie, and I was just kind of I wasn't with it. But I understood that people appreciated the work that was done with Reggie, but I just want to make sure that I'm not
Like
going to be that guy. Yeah,
yeah.
because I'm more than that. Even though Reggie was definitely fun to play, I just wanted some more range. At least, like I said, for the start out. Now I can always go back to Reggie, but I'm not trying to get locked in to only doing these, um,
Like
these kind of
kind of
annoying.
hothead.
Right. I want to keep it moving. So that's the latest one that comes out in May. But I was in the middle of filming another series, so I'm just waiting to get back to that, after the quarantine.
Awesome, awesome. I mean, going from Reggie to Bootsy Collins, that's incredible, man. I gotta
Yeah, it's a
tip my
different,
hat to
it's a
you for
different,
that one.
it's a
That's
different thing, man. It's a different thing, and I think, hopefully, I just did a little justice, man. I try to just bring something to it, and so we'll see, man.
that's incredible, man. Hey, London, thank you so much for sitting down with me, taking the time out to talk. I really appreciate it. It's good to hear
Yeah,
from you all what you're doing. I can't wait to see American Soul. You said that drops May 27th
May 27th on BET.
on BET.
Yeah.
Hell yes, sir. Thank you
Thank you,
so
man.
much.
I appreciate it, brother. And
Thank
then
you.
if you send this to me or to my publicist or however y'all set it up. I want to
Yeah,
just see
definitely,
stuff.
definitely. We'll
Thank you, man. I
make it
appreciate you,
happen.
bro. Thanks for the
Thank
listeners. I
you.
appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you.